I am now live. Yes, here we are. Sharontel Durskell, celebrity publicist, motivational speaker, and #1 international best-selling author of the #1 Habit series for entrepreneurial success, which you can purchase right now on Amazon. Today, we are here for another one. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. I'm always ready. I think I wake up ready. Hey there. Hello. I think our guest is here now. Hello. Predestined, the series. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Tequila. Hello. Cravery Couture. Hello. DJ Snap NYC. What's up? Ready? So just request so that you can come in. I have an amazing guest lined up for us today. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, let me turn this off because this is going to be like loud dinging everywhere. Hello, hello. I hope everybody is well. Hello, hello, hello. This is my favorite part of the week. All right, awesome.
Hello.
Oh, so awesome. Look at the team. Yes, let me pin this here. Thank you so much for putting that there. Yes, live with Aaron Avant
Yes,
Johnson.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you said yes.
Of
I'm,
course. Of course.
I'm so happy. I was looking, I was just scrolling, and then I see the choir, the people. I didn't know what it was. That's what I just seen that, and I was like, let me see what's going on over here. And then I was like, creator, oh my goodness, because this is a crazy time that we're in right now, right? And we're looking for, some good music to listen to, some good
Right,
people.
right,
Believe
right.
it or not, people are looking for that and need that right now. So
Yeah.
that's what attracted me to come over and see what you had going on. So I'm so happy and grateful that you're here to so that we could talk about it. Okay, yeah. Shout out to 10K Cards. He's there. Hello, everybody. I appreciate you guys. Look at everybody coming in. Okay, let's start. How do we start? Choose Your Path was literally just something that I started at the beginning of the summertime. I was just
Mm-hmm.
gonna come on and have conversations with my friends and say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Check, check,
Right,
check, check.
right.
Microphone check. You good over there?" And and then it actually turned into a thing where I was able to start reaching. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I might as well keep this ball rolling." And
Right.
I started contacting people that I was inspired by, and just to have these conversations so that people can know that they can take this time to create, and you have
Yeah.
an opportunity. We can't control what's going on the outside, but we can
Right.
control how we're looking at it. We can control our time and what we're doing as we're spending it, and choose your path.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so that's what, just a little background about how this started.
And that's
I
awesome.
guess, I guess we could take a little picture from the beginning. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. Where are you from?
Okay. I'm from Miami.
You from Miami?
Yeah, Miami, Florida.
Like you actually like born and raised from here. You
Born,
didn't,
raised,
because
the whole nine from Miami. Yes, ma'am.
you see a lot of people from Miami, but they're not really from
I
there. So that's
know, I
kind
know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm born, raised. Basically my whole family's from Miami. Except my dad. My dad's actually from Chicago. So, but yeah, everyone else we're here.
that is so cool. So how was it like growing up there?
Different, hot. Honestly, Miami is it's a diverse place. It really is diverse. It's like a big melting pot. But it's hot all the time. Believe it or not, I'll say, when people think of Miami, they think of like, South Beach, and they think about going to
Mm-hmm.
the beach. Believe it or not, a lot of natives, especially from Miami, we don't go to the beach that often. So really, the beach is full with nothing but tourists and, people that, wanting to go there. I can't even tell you the last time I've been to like Miami Beach or South Beach. It's been a minute, but yeah, from
That
Miami.
is so funny. That is so cool. Wow. I was like, let me ask him, where is he from? Cleveland, Ohio. It's just
How is
Cleveland. I don't
that?
even.
Growing up in Cleveland.
Yeah, I used to think like it was such a big, huge place. I really did, and I also thought that like New York was just something that I would see on TV and like
Right.
all these other places was. But
Right.
then I realized that it was really kind of small.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
it
know, when
is.
you're growing up, everything looks big. Even the adults look like way big, and then you get older, you're like, you little, you
Right.
really like get out of here.
Right. Right.
But it was really small. But I'm so grateful for the whole experience. You have family
Wow.
in Cleveland? Wow. Okay, Pastor LTD.
Yes, that is Latara Davis, who's also my aunt. She's actually an artist and she's in the Predestined series as well. I see
Oh,
a lot
she
of the cast
is.
members are chiming in. Thank you guys so much for
Oh,
joining.
that is so cool. Thank you for sharing too. I was like, oh, he on the road like me. Or the
Yes,
family, whoever
ma'am.
the family.
Oh, we don't play over here. Yes, ma'am.
Don't play at all. I love it because that's me. I'll go crazy all day long, like spamming,
Right, right,
spamming everybody.
right, right.
So how are you doing during this pandemic? This is going to be a two-part question. How are you doing during this pandemic and any lessons learned from it?
Ah, so many. Okay, first question. How am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Working in the pandemic. I say this is what's hilarious. With the Predestined project, we had did this series during the time where like numbers were skyrocketing and it was going high, especially here in Miami. So we, Hollywood has shut down, but crazy AAJP, we said let's go do a project.
Because you
So
got the idea
yeah, yeah.
and you had to get it out your head.
We had to get it out. We had to get
Yeah.
it out, and we produced some great magic with the series. But working during the pandemic, it's been busy. That's really how it's been. But as far as lessons, so many. Like spending time with your family, valuing the little
Yeah,
things.
that part.
Just even being able to go outside and breathe freely without a mask was just like. It was big because I'm not even gonna lie. It took me a long time to get used to wearing a mask, and even now, sometimes I forget. I'm still taking safety precautions, y'all. But
Yes,
sometimes
okay.
I may be in the car and I'll forget the mask. I'm like, oh, I gotta go run back inside the house, grab the mask, and put it back on. But it just makes you value the little things, and it really just opens up perspective, just on how much time, honestly, we have here. Like, we're on borrowed time. So while we're here, we got to make the most of it. So
Say it again, brother.
yes, ma'am.
Borrowed time. Like
Borrowed
we are
time.
definitely on that. And that's exactly why I have to be very mindful of
Right.
how I'm spending my time. Like
Right.
that's
Right.
exactly what we're doing.
Yes,
Like we're
ma'am.
spending it and we can't get it back though.
Right,
Money,
right.
money, whatever. But when you're spending
Time? Oh
time,
yeah.
woo,
Priceless.
yeah. I
Priceless.
lost a few people. I lost a few people last year. And
Oh,
some
I'm so
people
sorry
that
to
I
hear that.
didn't even know.
Wow. Right.
Or watching like the people around you lose loved ones. That is,
Yeah,
oh man, that is so heartbreaking.
it
But I
is.
want to be like that positive light to say we're gonna make it, we're gonna
Yes,
get through
ma'am.
this,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we're gonna continue to create, and we're going to, oh my goodness, we're gonna tune in and watch this series when it comes out in April, right?
Yes, ma'am. April 2021.
Oh my goodness, I wish because there's not gonna be a sound, right? But I just wish that we could hear
Oh,
it. I
I
know,
know.
right?
I know. I didn't even know you could do this on Instagram story. This is cool. Okay.
Oh, come on, Instagram. Come on through with the come through Instagram.
Oh wow.
This is
Yeah.
that's what had me say, hey, can you come on and talk to me and tell me about
Of
this? Because
course.
this is freaking phenomenal. Like an
Thank you.
urban musical series and it has a story.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did the story come from? How was it inspired? And I got a whole bunch of questions. But
Right,
go
right.
ahead.
I'm here for it.
Let's start there.
Okay, so first with this story, okay, well, of course, I'm gonna let you know what the show is about. Predestined
Okay.
is an urban musical series about a preacher's daughter turned R&B singer who is forced to come back home and face some dark secrets and some dark truths after her mother's passing. And her mother still has the church, so now it's like the church responsibility is being thrown in her lap.
Right.
Then on top of that, we made it a musical, so so
On
it's
top
quite
of
different.
it.
Yes, ma'am. So it's quite different. But with this story, because with my production company, I have done array of different genres. I've never done a musical, and it's crazy enough because I love musicals personally. So I was like, you know what? I gotta do a musical. We have to make it happen some kind of way. So, you know, I was inspired, you know, just by a lot of things that, you know, I'm privy to as far as growing up, you know, in church culture and everything. And then, you know, kind of putting my twist on it. And then also, my brother Devontae Skills, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. He's like my creative partner with this project, because we have sat down and he had to come up with a whole entire sound for this series. So he had to, you know, write and arrange and really put together the whole shebang. And the story follows the main character, which is the R&B superstar Talia Rawlings. So even coming up with her sound was very. It was fun, honestly. It was fun, and the song that you hear in that little piece of the trailer, that's actually the song that is featured within the show. So the story is definitely one that I really want everybody to see, because I believe everybody can take something away from it. So
yeah, I was gonna ask too, like, what kind of person do you think that would like love this show, like this series?
So you know what? If you like anything, you know what I like to say? I like to say this show is a mixture of a few different things. But if you like, this show's like a mixture between the Greenleaf and the Empire put together in one. This is honestly what this show is about. Of course, you know, people from church culture, you know, they will really, you know, appreciate the show. But even if you don't go to church, or even if you're not, you know, from a church background, you will be able to appreciate the show, because there is something in it for everybody. And the show isn't centered in the church. We bouncing between Hollywood and celebrity stardom, and then we come here with the church, and then we're going back and forth. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun scenes. The sound of this show is so different. We have hip hop, we have a trap, we have a contemporary gospel, we have alternative. It's like a whole rainbow of different sounds put together for this one project. So I believe that, you know, I believe that anybody who just likes really good television will be able to, you know, enjoy this series.
Oh man, I'm already excited about it. Speaking of Greenleaf, I just had someone on from Greenleaf. It was when was he here? Martin Luther King Day. We did Martin Luther King Day. He said, "You want to do Martin Luther King Day?" I said, "Of course." It's King's Day. Why would we do that? Right. Of course, we can shed some light.
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
our truth.
Yes, ma'am.
Parnell Damone Marcano. He is the choir director.
Yeah.
He was and he brought his energy, and he also talked about how just in his personal life, there were some things that did connect with the character. So is there anybody that's a part of this series that you would feel like, no, that's how they are too in real life?
Oh, a few different characters come to mind. You know, with this series, I took a lot of inspiration from, you know, things that I've seen. I was inspired by a lot. So I was inspired by a lot. But definitely, you know, there are some characters that I believe, you know, that I took personal inspiration from. But also, I wanted it to be my duty and my job just to make sure that these characters are relatable. Like, you know, you can watch it and be like, oh, I'm like that, or I know someone like that, or, you know, I have a friend like that, or I got a sister like that. So, and it was very, very important for me to tackle different issues within this series. So, you know, I'm not gonna give away too much, but like, you know, we deal with, you know, molestation, we deal with homelessness, we deal with rejection, forgiveness. It's like a real big ray of emotion, and each character, they have their own story going within this one big story. So I believe definitely, you know, I can relate to some of these characters, and I'm sure that the audience will be able to find something or someone that they can say, oh, I know that person. So
wow, yeah. Is there anyone that's a part of this series that is really funny outside?
Oh,
because I think that you have some comedians a part of this.
Yeah,
right? Okay. A few, right?
A few. So first, starting with actually Pastor Mabel, who is Talia's mother within the series. She's actually a comedian, so she's in this series as well. And I mean, even when she was not rolling, she had us rolling. So she had us laughing the entire time. But we also have some notable faces. We have Carlton Banks. We have Cedric the Entertainer. And outside of the comedians, we have Neyo, Jacqueline Carr, Annalise Vanderpool. We got some very notable faces, and it was an honor to work with each and every one of them within the project. So,
How did you how was that process when you were getting the cast together? Like picking, like was there a big number? Because did you do this during the pandemic?
everything during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I
So
know
how
we a
did
little
you
crazy. Oh, but we was doing everything during the pandemic. So casting. Usually the way I cast my projects is about the same. It's about the same thing. You know, we do like a lot of virtual castings, a lot of self tapes. You know, to send in, and of course with
Okay.
COVID, we had no choice. We couldn't do no in person casting, so everything was
Right.
coming in. Casting the process was very interesting because these are very interesting characters. So it was fun to see different people audition for certain roles. But I did know. I said, well, for this main character Talia, I said I'm looking for a certain type of person that can really be able to pull this off. And she's actually on the live right now, Chantel Robinson, who is the lead actress who plays Talia within the series.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, so she was. I thought she was away at college, but she wasn't. And I said, hey, I got this role. I would love for you to audition for it. I can literally envision you playing this character. And she auditioned and she knocked it out of the park. And a lot of the other cast members, they auditioned and knocked it out of the park. And so, we have a very phenomenal cast who did an amazing job all across the board.
A phenomenal cast, like amazing. I think I had wrote it down on one of my papers. I was like, oh my goodness. I was telling someone about it earlier, and they was like, well, what is it about? And I was like, I was sounding like, have you ever seen Clubhouse? You been over there?
I have not yet. I've been seeing everybody talking about it. I haven't yet.
Well, there are certain rooms where you like do like pitching, right? So I
Mhm.
almost like literally made it sound. I'm like, no, really, it's like an urban musical series, and da 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 da. And I went down the whole line, and I
Oh,
think
I
it's just
love it.
freaking phenomenal because when I was in middle school, in the seventh grade, life wasn't so, great because my grandmother raised me. What it was though, because she raised me, but I mean like mother and father,
Right,
the
right, right,
picture.
right,
And so, sometimes you get those phenomenal teachers. They'll pick
right.
up on your gifts and things
Yeah,
of that sort, and they just take you under their wing sometimes. And
yeah.
others, they'll see it and they want to like beat you down and don't want you to do it. But
Oh,
one teacher, she took me to this musical, and I literally fell in love with musicals ever since. I've been to,
oh,
oh my gosh, countless Broadway musicals. Those are absolutely phenomenal.
right.
And I've been to other ones that, back at home and stuff. And I just think that they're amazing because it gets to tell a story. You get to literally take the words and bring them to life.
Literally.
And the spectator, the one that gets to watch it and enjoy it, you got the music, so you got the drums and you got the instruments, and then you have the characters, and they get in character and they telling this story, and it's live. It's
Yeah,
happening, right?
yeah,
And you can feel it, and it's like just seeing an urban musical series, meaning
yeah.
that there's going to be more than one. So I
Oh,
get to
yeah.
actually, while I'm at home going through this temporary season, I
Right.
need to chime into Predestined series because this
Yes,
is going to be
ma'am.
something that's going to be motivating. I get to watch this young lady go through all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. I mean, like
Yeah,
she's the preacher's daughter, so she has like this, it's almost like you're the president. You know what
yeah,
I mean? When
yeah.
people see you as the president, you got to do certain things. You can't do certain
Right,
stuff. Yeah,
right,
it's just against the code,
right,
right?
right, right,
So I'm
right.
looking, man, I'm looking forward to it. Like I was so happy to see that
Yeah,
during this
and
time.
And you brought up a really great point because, being with that level of being a preacher's kid, you do have certain restrictions, but this is where the cool part with Talia's character come up. Talia, she became an R&B star on top of that. So you can only imagine the
Right.
drama that goes on within
Exactly.
it. So,
Just
yeah,
that part. Right.
right.
Yeah. Because that's music that, that It ain't
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, Jesus ain't
So
in that music, but
right, right. I was trying to think of a
yeah.
word that my grandmother would call it, like that secular,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was like, mm-mm, sister. So I
Hmm.
know, like, I mean, I grew up in the church, so I know, being friends with preachers' daughters and
Right.
understanding, over the years of like that is a responsibility all in its own, even though
Yeah.
the father chose his path.
Hmm.
I'm still a part of that because I am connected to my
Right.
father. I am
Right.
my father's daughter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Wow,
you have
that's
no
pretty.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't have no choice. And it's
Yeah.
like, but you have your curiosities. You
Hmm.
have all of these other things that you deal with outside of that title.
Right.
And
Right.
people never see it that way, though.
Right. That's
No,
true.
it's always the title that they see, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why I hope, like when people say, "Oh my God, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a celebrity president, motivational speaker." But then I'm thinking, no, outside of that, I'm a human being,
Right.
and life evolves and nature happens and all of that stuff. And I
Yeah.
and I go through things too. I'd be like, "Oh, you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I do."
Hmm.
And it's amazing. So I love, we're going through this time, yes, but I'm actually loving this time because maybe I do need to spend more time with God. I mean, He's my best friend. I don't
Right.
do
Yes,
absolutely
ma'am.
nothing without God at all. I don't make no decisions unless He's in it.
Right.
But
Right.
maybe I needed to spend more time with my loved ones. Maybe I was
Yeah.
getting a little sidetracked by the date book,
Yeah.
in the calendar that I'm looking
Yeah.
at over here to my right and your
Right.
left.
Right. Right.
Maybe it was time for us to connect and have this conversation so that you
Yeah.
can talk about this amazing series that this has to go viral. People
Yes,
need
ma'am. Yeah.
light right
Yeah.
now, and I
Yeah.
can tell that they're searching for it because when you go onto YouTube, you can see all of the older music is
Yeah.
now
I thought I
like,
was the only one that was saying that.
no, mm-mm.
Wow. Okay.
I'm aware.
You aware?
Yeah. I was like, see, people need that. And then when I
Right.
came across your page, I was like, he answered the calling.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? That's like the best thing right now, especially doing all of the craziness of even outside of the pandemic, just like the everything in general right now. We need something uplifting. We need something that's that we want to sit down and enjoy. And within this series, there are so many lessons. There are so many things that you can take away and that you can apply to your own life. And it is so important, especially during today's climate. So
It is, yeah, especially in this climate. Absolutely. And it's, I said, this is my job as a leader right now.
yes,
I call
yes,
myself, I'm a leader.
yes,
I call
ma'am.
myself that because, I think about like all of the people who are less fortunate. Maybe they
Right,
think that they are anyway, because that's a thought. That's whatever you perceive in your life to be, that's just what it is. Because
yeah,
I've been through so many different challenges, and even through all the challenges, I stay positive. I smile all the time.
right.
Speaking of smiling, I usually have coffee right in here.
Uh-huh.
But this time I put some juice, and
Okay.
it's red juice, right? And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I hope that it don't stain my tongue like Kool-Aid. I don't drink Kool-Aid, but I remember how it was as a child. And I'm like, I
Yes,
don't want to.
ma'am.
And then I'm talking because I love to smile all the way, and they're gonna be like, what's all that red stuff on the tongue?
Yes, ma'am. I ain't gonna let you go out like that. I ain't gonna let you
Don't
go
let
out
me
like
go out there like that. Don't let me go out like that. As a child, what did you want to be when what did you used to say to yourself when you want to grow up?
Um, ooh, this is a journey. Okay, so believe it or not, I knew I wanted to be in the film industry at a very early age, like since 9. And that's
Okay.
when I started, my production company. And then, that grew into me from that grew to producing and then directing and then creating our own content and our own materials. And by the grace of God, I've been very, very fortunate to be, honored alongside legends like Ava DuVernay and Bishop T.D. Jakes and Harry Belafonte and Gina Belafonte and all of these, amazing, amazing people. And at a very early age, I knew that this was what I wanted to do. Now, funny enough, I don't tell this particular story all the time, but actually, when I was younger than that, I wanted to be an actor, believe it or not. So I remember going to like the Miami Children's Theater. acting school,
Uh-huh.
and I said, this ain't for me. I want to get in the background. Let's see what the background got going on. So then, I just thought it was more fun, to create and to come up with your own stories and, really be able to have your own voice and to tell it from your perspective. So, I knew this is what I wanted to do for a good little minute. Yeah.
Ooh, so you held on to the dream.
Held on to the journey over, my math ain't that good, but let's say over 10 years, held on to the journey,
Yeah,
10, 11
yeah.
years, definitely.
That is freaking phenomenal. I know when I talked to the kids before COVID, I'm trying to work on something now actually for the Zoom to bring the
Okay.
kids together because I want to know how are they doing too.
Right.
Right?
It must be challenging. I mean, because with school by itself, I mean, and it's crazy to think that they haven't been physically in a school building for going almost a year or so. Coming up, it will be almost a year. And then, I know that's a lot of pressure, like, for kids who are so used to going to school every day
Social.
to now it's like they have to be very independent now when it comes to their work. They're
Yeah.
not able to really get that one-on-one, like they're used to. So I know that definitely must be challenging, and that's why it is so important, even for our young people, that we keep our mental healthy because, during this time, it is so important, that we keep our mind, together, keep
Ooh,
our mind right.
yeah.
Because, it's very easy to stray off with everything going on. So,
Very easy. If I really said, when I go to the grocery store, right, if I really thought about it when I was in that line that I got this mask on, that would probably freak me out.
yeah,
Like if I was
yeah,
like put my mind into the world of what it
right,
looks like, it would freak me out. But
yeah,
because I'm just going through what I had to do to stay safe, I
right,
don't
right,
really think too deep into it because my mind just will go there. I would be like,
right.
wow, this is wild. Like we are really walking around here looking like hazmats.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's
It's
true,
true.
right?
It's like we're in a horror
Right.
movie that's just not ending. So,
Right. And it's like really happening. And that is so
yeah.
interesting that you say that. I went home to Cleveland, I would say the early part of the year, and I don't want to talk about the funeral portion of it because I went recently for a funeral, but the early part of the year, and I went back to my old neighborhood, and it literally felt like, what's that movie? The Night of the Living Dead. Like the
Oh,
people were like, and then it's like,
yeah.
where did you? Because I went in the hood where I
Uh-huh.
come from. Yeah, I never really go back to where I come from because not
Right.
everybody will be happy for you, and you have to be
That,
really,
that's the
you got to be
word.
cautious of that. Yeah,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that was my experience of it, and I think that too. Sometimes people are like that right now. They're like
Mm-hmm.
going through the 9 to 5, the everyday, the entertainment, and that's it. And they're not
Yeah.
questioning anything. They're
Mm-mm.
not looking up or looking for anything, and they're just like letting life just pass them
It's a
by.
form of existing, and it's like, it is so easy to get caught up in the wave of existing and not really living, especially during right now, because, it's just like, some people feel as if, what can I do? Like, what I used to do, I can't do no more. So, it's just like I'm just going through the motions day by day. And I know, even with this project, I was like, okay, I understand we in the pandemic, but I said, we got to do something. I don't care what it is. We got to do something. Of course, we follow safety procedures and no one was sick at all. Thank God no one had got sick with COVID. But it's just
Thank
like,
God.
during this time, you need to give yourself something to look forward to.
You
Even
do.
it can be as small as you ordering something and the package is coming on Friday. You know that you have to stay
Oh,
alive
I
for
love
Friday
packages.
to get that package. Listen, I'm part of the Amazon club. I have packages coming like every other day. But it is so important for you to give yourself something to look forward to in a time where everything seems so cloudy. So yeah,
Yes, exactly. So I look forward to these conversations because
yes,
this is something to take me outside of me being, I'm at home
yeah,
like all the time.
right,
So
right,
like these conversations take me on. It's like, what are you doing over there? And what are you creating? And how are you feeling? And how are you dealing with it? And how did you come
right.
up with this project? And what does a creative project like? these are unscripted conversations.
Yeah.
I don't come in with a list of like things. Like, I don't want it to sound like an interview, even though I guess that's, we're having a conversation is what I like to
Conversation.
say,
Listen, I'm very comfortable. It's
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's really good. And I'm very happy about that. What time is it? Let me see. Shout out my sponsor. Gotta pay.
No
Pay
problem.
what the people on the radio say, I gotta pay, it's time to pay the bill.
Gotta pay the bill.
So this is a digital business card. Speaking about this time that we're in right now in this climate, I'm telling you, people better get on it because everything eventually is going to be digital. It's going to be digital this and digital that and everything digital. So this is a digital business card. And what they do is just take the phone. I know everybody is starting to be, I hope that they're starting to be aware of the digital thing we have going on here where we scan the QR code. I went into the restaurant the other day and that's the menu. It's the QR code. You're like, it'd be like, well, what if I don't even have an iPhone though? Oh, hold on, we'll get a menu for you. Like everybody got an iPhone, but you better, yep. So you got your own QR code. There be your face right there in the middle. Oh.
Yes.
So what this is that your Instagram, your websites, your YouTube, all of that stuff, your IMDb, I said P the other day, B. All of that is right there, and they can connect with you. You can meet somebody in the store and be like, "Hey, what's your handle?" And you just be like, "Scan my card." 6 feet. 6 feet.
I love it. I love it.
So that's pretty cool. Shout out to 10K cards. Yes.
Go ahead, 10K.
Oh, and thank you for the look. I shot him out and gave me a donation. Thank you.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you for the donation.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Were there any challenges creating or going through this script? Oh, well, not creating it. Let's say, were there any challenges bringing it to life?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's put it that way.
Challenges. I would say, honestly, more so the challenges really went on the side of shooting during a pandemic. That's crazy in itself because you can't have too many people. It's very different to work with everybody. Social distancing, we're taking temperatures, we're sanitizing everything. We got masks. We wanted to make sure that safety was our number one priority before anything. So I would say that was a challenge that was very unique because this was the first time we ever had to run a production like this. So we had to abide by, production guidelines, as far as our state here in Florida. So it was challenging. It was challenging, but overall, we was able to get it done and we was able to create some magic. So I'm proud of it.
I am too. Shout out to the team. I know that I'm trying to see the comments.
I have not been reading the comments.
Yeah, it's really.
Everyone is in here.
I don't. I had a conversation, right, some months back with Anthony Hamilton. I always bring him up because he was just so significant. I just absolutely love his whole life.
He's amazing.
And he was reading the comments. I'm like, focus.
Like up here. That happened to me one time. I was on a live, I think, with one of my actresses, and we had so many comments going through, and I'm looking at it like, right. So I got lost in the conversation. So I just learned not to look at the comments. We in here together,
Because it can really take you off of the vibe. Like if you're talking about something, you're going and everything is flowing, right? And then you look down and someone will be like, "Oh, well look at this mustache," and you like,
it would throw you off.
That's like going to a comedy show and somebody say something, and now the comedian is like got his attention on this person, and the joke is over. It's over. Like, let's get back. Like, but someone was doing that though. We were on, and so they were making comments, or somebody was joking, and he was laughing at the. And I'm
wow!
Sorry, come back. But it was fun though.
Um,
Oh man, these conversations are like a lot of fun. I really
Yeah,
do love them.
I'm
Yeah.
having the time of my life right now.
Yeah, they are so much fun. So uh, I would say, who are you inspired by? Not like the family. I'm talking
Mhm.
about like as far as like actors and directors. Like who inspired you the most?
Hmm.
Is there
Um.
are there a lot?
You know what? I believe that everybody they all bring something to the industry that is so valuable. And I know for me, some of the people that I take inspiration from, as far as like watching their career and just like what they've been able to do, and the challenges they've been able to overcome is people like James Wan, people like Tyler Perry, Cicely Tyson, who I just oh my goodness, I love
Oh,
that person. It's the
she is one of my inspirations.
first African American woman to win an Emmy. Just like what? And she's been in this industry for so many years and still working. Still
Yes,
working.
still working.
Still working. And I really take inspiration from, people like that. I take inspiration even from way back. The first African American film director, which was Oscar. I always mess up his last name, but Oscar Mukenex. If I always mess it up, y'all don't. I know who I'm talking about. Just go Google him. I probably pronounce his last name,
I
but
like
he was
that.
the first African American film director, and he was independent, and he produced well over 25 independent films by himself.
Oh
And
my
that is like
God.
phenomenal. Like he really paved the way, honestly, for all filmmakers, especially all filmmakers of color. So I believe that everybody they all bring something to the industry that is very unique, and that you can take like parts of their career and parts of their story and be inspired by it. So
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. I was inspired by one of my biggest inspirations, other than Cicely Tyson. That's so amazing that you brought her up. Bishop T.D. Jakes. I,
um,
I love that man.
listen, he be
I've
on it.
shared the stage with him, right? I
Uh-huh.
mean, when I say that I love somebody and I vibe with them, I make sure I make it my business to connect with that person.
Right.
No, I heard somebody say the other day, I was listening to an audio book and the guy was like, "Oh, there may be some people that you probably will never be able to ever meet." And I was like, "Oh, maybe he didn't mean me. He didn't mean Sharon. He didn't mean Sharon Tell." And I don't do it in a stalkish way. It's
Uh,
literally like, "Hey, God, like this person has really made a significant. Can you
yes.
make this connection happen?" And
Yes.
I was just amazed. The last show, I've been on Dr. Oz several times, but the last time was like really significant because the car picks me up, I get there, get to the studio, and I go to my green room, but on the floor is a little different than it usually is. It's
Hmm.
locked down. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is going on? I know they're not doing this for me.
Yeah.
So what's going on here? So it's me, my green room, and then across there's a celebrity doctor, and then there's Bishop Jakes, and then there's Gabrielle Union, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, I'm on the star-studded floor.
Yes,
This is
ma'am.
okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
just having a conversation with him was everything that I felt about him before I was able to personally meet him and share a stage
Right.
with him. And it
Right.
was just like, yes, because he got my life together. I love the way that it doesn't feel so churchy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the way
Yeah.
that he like really breaks down certain different concepts and life
Right.
applications, and the way that he says is like, my daughter, she's in her 20s. I'm gonna say her age because then people are like, what? You got a daughter in her?
Listen, I'm thinking you in your 20s. You better stop now. You
Yeah,
better
yeah.
stop
Cut
it.
it out, cut it out.
Cut it
And
out.
she's like, his voice scares me, Mom. I said, yeah, because he got that daddy, you better, you better.
Oh,
And so it was so nice to hear you say his name earlier because
yeah.
he's another one that I just absolutely love. And Steve Harvey, too. He made a
Yeah.
significant, and I shared the stage with him as well. I'm telling you, when people use that word manifest and all this other stuff, but no, when you really tap into it, you can really choose your path. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing that you can't do. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. But you gotta trust the process because there's a
Yeah.
process. I don't want people thinking like you sit here and be like, God, I said that I wanted to meet my husband.
Uh,
Like, where is he? And it's like, no, it don't
yeah,
happen like that. He's
yeah.
knocking at the door. No, it doesn't
This
happen
is
that way.
not an overnight thing. It's not an overnight thing at all. You can
No.
call things to happen, you know. Like I said, you know, if it's in God's will, if it's His alignment, He'll open up the door. Like back when this is during like 2014, I was no 20, yeah, for 2014. So my friend Skylar, he was at the time I didn't know him, but his name is Skylar Gray, and he's a street artist. So he was on the 365 Black Awards, and he was being honored along like Iyanla Van Zandt and other really good people. So I remember we was in the room sitting down watching it, and out of nowhere I said, you know what? I'm going to be honored on that show next year. I'm going to be honored on that show next year. So, you know, my parents got just as much crazy faith as I do. So they were like,
they're like,
yeah. We're in a bedroom. You know, we didn't even mean to go to this. We just flipping through trying to find a good movie. And all of a sudden I was just like, you know, yeah. So literally that whole year, I was speaking it. That whole year, I was claiming it. I was putting everything else in line, you know, put all my stuff in order. And crazy enough, the following year, I remember when I got the call, me and my dad, we was out walking, and he had answered the phone, and you know, something was kind of off because, you know, my dad's a talkative person. So when my dad is really listening, I'm like, okay, you know, what's going on here? So he hung up the phone. He was like, you would not believe who I just got off the phone with. I was like, who? The 365 Black Awards. They want to honor you on BET alongside, you know, Ava DuVernay, and and all these people. The first time in my life as I took off at 100 miles per hour down the street, I didn't care where I was going. I ran, and it was just first of all, it was a funny sight to see. But number two, it was just like a testament just to show that you can really have what you want to have in this life, and you can speak it, you can claim it, you can get it, and it's not impossible. But you know, you do have to trust the process. You know, it took a year for me to, you know, get that. You know, it just didn't pop up overnight, but it's definitely possible.
Oh my gosh, yes it is. Just like Lissy, I'm gonna bring it back down. Veronica, she says, faith without works is dead. Yes, that's so true. You have to put in the work, and it has to align with the. It has to align with the will of God, just like I said earlier. If God is not in it, because it's not gonna work, and it won't. And even if it does start, it's not gonna last. It's gonna be a bunch of stuff, and it's gonna be all bad until you get out of it. So it's like, just let Him and trust Him.
Just trust it. Just trust the process.
Just trust it. Trust the process. Oh, I know that's freaking amazing. I was ready. You ain't even finished the story yet, and I was just ready to do like this. Like, yes. Oh my goodness, that had to feel freaking phenomenal.
It did.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It was just like even things, you know, after that, just like, you know, it's just even, you know, smaller things after that, and then even bigger things that came after that, and you know, it's just a testament that, you know, you just got to trust the process. Nothing happens overnight. And you have to, consistency is the key. You know, you can't just wake up one day and say, hey, you know, you speak this and then you forget about it. Like, you know.
No, that's not how it works.
You know, you have to put some power, and, you know, you have to put some action behind what you are saying. So, you know, it's true. It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing. How did, not how did. What is like maybe three pieces of advice that you could give someone who wants to do what you do? Be a director, be a writer, be a creative, be an amazing human being.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Honestly, that last one is the best compliment that you can even give me. You know what? I would say, going back to what you said, don't be too focused on the titles. You do what you are called to do, and you be passionate about whatever you want to do. And then don't be afraid to bet on yourself. That is the biggest thing that I've learned. That's like one of my biggest lessons. Like, if anything, these last maybe 3 years have taught me, do not be afraid to bet on yourself, because when you bet on yourself, you cannot lose. Even in your mind, what you may think have been a loss is a lesson. Because then, you know, hey, you know, it may not have worked out the way, you know, I planned it to, but I've learned from it. I know now what to do better for next time. I would say, you know, don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Be passionate. And I would say also, going back to consistency, you got to be consistent. You got to trust the process. Like, nothing happens overnight. As you guys If anybody, especially in this entertainment industry, you'll hear it all the time that you have to pay your dues. You know, you have to pay your dues. So you know, I mean, you know, I was the type where, you know, because I started out so young, I started like, you know, at 9. And I like to tell this funny story. So I was in middle school, and I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it was a soul singer back in the day. Her name is Betty Wright. She has just passed away now. I think last year, but she's like a Grammy Award winning soul singer. And I remember missing some days of school because she wanted me to come and direct a music video. So, you know, I'm on set directing her music video. We're creating, we're putting it together. And I'm like only like in 7th grade. And I come back and they're like, "Where were you?" "Oh, I was directing a Grammy Award winning Betty Wright." You know, that. They was like, "What?" Like, what are you talking about? So I would say, listen, consistency is the key, because, like I said, you know, I have been doing this for a minute, and you do have to pay your dues in the beginning. But
No,
at
you
a
do.
certain point in time, you know, you will begin to trust yourself, and you will know, like, you will know at a certain point in time when them dues are paid.
That
Like,
is
I done
so
paid them.
true.
Nah, you know, it's time for me to move on to something else.
That
But you
is
know, that
so
all
true.
comes with experience, and learn from your experiences. Is honestly so much advice, but learn from your experiences, you know, and be in them, be in the moment, in those experiences, because, you know, more than just having the experiences, you want to learn from it. You want to take away. You always want to be a student, because honestly, that's what we all are, as students of life. You know, we learn from life every single day. Life is teaching us lessons. If anything,
Right now.
you know, we've been in school for like this last year and a half going
Yes,
on.
we have.
COVID, you know, it's teaching us so many life lessons right now. So, you know, be a student of life. So, yeah.
A student of life. Okay, brother. I love it. Let's see. Do we have any questions before I go on to my next questions? Oh my goodness, that's so funny. The man, yeah, see, is amazing. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one that thinks that.
I appreciate. I want to give a shout out to all of my cast and crew and my interns that I just started at A&N Von Johnson Productions. We just opened up this round of internship at our company, and I see a lot of my interns in here, a lot of my cast, and a lot of my crew. So thank you all so much for joining on the live. I appreciate you all. We have a
You
lot of
opened it up to interns, which is amazing, because now
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
helping them so that they can be in the becoming.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I was telling someone that the other day. I said, "Oh, I'm so grateful for my first yes
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
industry," right?
come on. Because it's so rewarding when you get it. It's just like, because you go through it hearing so many no's, and it's like,
It ain't no,
one yes.
and it was no paycheck attached to it whatsoever. Let's just say that. Let's just be
Yeah.
clear about that. For my first yes, it was nothing attached to it, but it was so much more than money could not buy, and it was priceless. And
Right.
I'm still living from that yes, and that was over
Right.
10 years ago, and I'm so grateful
That's a
for
blessing.
it.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing.
I'm so
But I'm not
grateful
gonna lie,
for
it
it.
comes like that. You know, a lot of times the first yes, it may not come with a paycheck, but it comes with the door. So, you know, you'll take the door. I'm like, hey, I'll take the door, because this door gonna open up other doors. So, yeah.
What are you doing outside of theater? Do you do anything outside of?
Yeah. Where can I start? I do a
Oh,
lot. So outside of film, outside of film and, you know, writing and everything like that,
mm,
you know, I'm still currently pitching. So I'm pitching to different networks. You know, we're still in the process of getting some things off the ground. Outside of that, I'm also like a public speaker. But I haven't been able to do any public speaking, you know, because of COVID right now. So,
no,
you know, I
yeah,
know you understand. So, you know, it's just like, you know, they kind of took a backseat. But outside of that, you know, I enjoy Netflix more than I should. I enjoy television more than I should. So,
I
but
love. Well, of
yeah.
course you do.
You know what? I'll say this. I'm probably, and I always say this because I never met anyone like me that's a filmmaker. I'm not really a movie person, believe it or not. I'm really like a television person, like a television show watcher.
Okay,
Like, I
okay.
don't know. I watch movies, you know, but like if I had to choose between a TV show and a movie, I'm going TV all the way, because I'm just such a fan of of these iconic shows, but also being able to have the opportunity to continuously tell the story and continuously go on. Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
just make your
Because the
brain work.
movie, yeah, because
Yeah.
when you go into the movie, it's pretty much The beginning, there's the plot, and there's the end. That's it. Bye.
Right.
And maybe we might get ready to do a part two, but how long would that
Right.
take? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But with the
Right.
TV, it's just constant. And that's the thing with this, right? We're going to have a series where
Yeah, it keeps going. So,
it's going to,
and yeah, and especially, you know, and I'm so glad too that, you know, you are allowing me, you know, to speak with you and being able to bring this to your audience and your followers as well. You know, so that way, you know, we can, you know, have the support that we need to get a season
oh,
2 and a season
yeah,
3
we
and
all got
season
to
4.
support this. We all got to share this.
Yes,
Right, we
ma'am.
all gotta share. We all gotta push it. I put it on all the platforms. I'm everywhere.
I
I'm
appreciate it.
everywhere except TikTok.
You know what? TikTok is taking over. I feel
I
it's
think it's
becoming a
cool.
big
I
thing.
love
It
the
is.
videos. Like I love the videos. I just don't know. I mean, I'm not that good with the editing part. So like they'll be singing like the whole first verse, and I'm just now catching up, like trying to. It just won't look right. It would just look crazy. I never used to even go live until the
Really?
pandemic.
Wow.
Nope. You want to see a bunch of videos of me? I did my work outside.
Like,
I
you
did
ain't
my
gonna
work
keep me
outside.
on here. Like,
No,
no.
and now I love it.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Yeah.
starting a podcast. I started a podcast in January,
Awesome.
February, March, April 15th. When does this come out?
Awesome. This coming out April 15th, same day.
Shut up, April 15th.
Same
Yes,
day.
that must be a good day.
Same
Yeah,
day. We got some
my
great things
podcast
coming.
starts. Yeah, Create True Art with
Oh,
Sharon
listen,
Tell.
I'm gonna be listening in because I'm
Yeah,
a big podcast lover myself. So
you are. Me too.
I'm the type I'll put in my headphones or I'll start playing it on my phone and I'll be either cleaning up or I'll be doing something and I'm
Working,
just
doing whatever,
listening.
writing.
I'm a podcast lover, yeah, for sure. So
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
definitely
So
tuned
yeah.
in. You already know you got my support.
Ooh, I got a download already.
You're already right here, right here, right here.
So right before, I guess so when it comes out in April, so right before or maybe a day after, you should come back.
Yes.
Podcast will be live. So then we can like even bring even more of another audience.
Listen, as long as you
I
have
just think
me, I'll
this
be
is
back.
freaking phenomenal. What did we not talk about? That was it. I wanted to talk about series, but of course we talk about other stuff because this is about a conversation
Yes,
on Choose
ma'am.
Your Path. I
Yes,
really
ma'am.
definitely appreciate it. I was trying to think of anything else that I maybe, is there something else that you wanted to
Um,
let the people know?
you know what? I'll redirect everybody to follow the Predestined the series. You guys can follow the series and stay
Yes.
updated on the series. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter at Predestined the series. Your support is definitely well appreciated. And just to stay updated, we got a lot of good things coming. The official trailer will be dropping really soon. So that's like, you know, that's really good. You know, what we released was just like a little snippet. That wasn't the whole trailer.
That
So,
was
you know,
enough.
the trailer's coming out. We have the soundtrack. See, thank you all so much. Thank y'all for
You gave us the
reminding me.
appetizer.
Yes, we got the soundtrack coming, and the soundtrack to the actual series will be another thing. So that will be available as well when the show is released. And the soundtrack consists of 15 songs. It's like a whole album, and I can guarantee you have not heard music like this before. We have R&B, contemporary gospel, hip hop, trap, alternative, inspirational. We have it all on
Oh,
the
count
soundtrack.
me in.
Yes, ma'am. And funny thing, I would say that this was like a little story. It slipped my mind, but now it's coming back. So a little
Okay.
fun fact about how I came up with the name Predestined. My mom had a gospel group back in the 90s called Predestined.
Yes.
And their group was called Predestined, and they, you know, they wasn't making music for, you know, probably since I was born. So it's been a little minute. I won't tell the age, but
Okay, that's okay.
it's been a little minute. So when I was putting the series together, I said, you know what? I said, you know what? I got the name for the series. I'm gonna call it Predestined. And you know, my mom, oh my God, you know, she was crying and everything.
I bet
But
she
then,
was.
yeah, so then I said, well, you know what? I said, I want you guys to come and sing the theme song for the show. So if you look on the trailer at the end, we hear, yes, I was predestined. That's like their group. And then my mom was just like, oh yeah, this is great. But then I said, well, I want a finale performance. So I want to bring you guys to the finale of the, of the show. And in the season finale of this first season of Predestined, it's like one big old hoopla, one big old performance, one big old showdown. And they got a chance to get on there and they performed. And their song, I can guarantee you listening to it one time is going to get stuck in your head the entire time. So it was really a whole family affair. I had my aunt involved, my brother is involved, my my mom's involved, my dad. It's like everybody is inclusive within this project. And the soundtrack, I can talk about that for so long. It's amazing by itself. So.
Oh my goodness! So you brought the genetic compounds.
The genetic compound. Listen, I said I'm only one compound. There's like a whole bunch of others. They have those skills that I don't got.
That is so awesome. Well, that's what makes it work.
Yes, it does.
Right? Yeah. So you get at this and you can do this and you can do this and it all comes together. Well, I'm so happy that you brought that up because that was an amazing story.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, my mom, I think she just put, I'm crying again. She's a water bag. She said, I'm crying again, so I'm going to have to go get her some tissue.
Oh, shout out to mom. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Wow, you really got everybody on here.
I truly appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate all the love and support. I really do.
I was trying to look and see, like, I never pay attention to that or look too much at the numbers because my mind goes fast anyway. So any little bit of distraction, it'll take me way off the path. And you'd be like, but you asked me what did I eat for breakfast this morning? And we're talking about the movie from last night. How did that happen?
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I always ask at the end of every show, I always ask if you could give us one word, and I know that you gave some advice, but if you could give us one word or a sentence, something to help us, motivate us as we continue to move forward.
One word I'll leave everybody with would be faith.
Oh, one word. Okay.
Faith. Continue to have faith. Do not walk into 2021 in fear. I know there's a lot of things that we can be fearful of right now, but don't walk into this year with fear. Walk into this year with faith, with reassurance that, what you are believing to happen will happen. And you walk bold and confident and you don't second guess yourself. Whatever you want, whatever your desires are, especially your desires for yourself, you make sure that you walk boldly in it and you take it by force.
Go.
We got another chance. Every day we wake up, it's another chance to make something happen. So, as long as you are getting that second chance, you continue to make something happen. So that's what I'll leave everybody with here on the line.
Ooh, thank you so much. Everyone, please go and follow. I made sure that I pinned it. I was so excited to team working together. I was like, follow. And definitely, thank you. Love, light,
thank
and
you so
energy.
much for having me. Listen, this was by far one of my favorite interviews I've ever had. It's so comfortable. I said, I'm not, I wasn't, I don't know who all is on the line because I wasn't even really looking. I was really, we was here. We was in conversation. So I appreciate it.
But it looked like we really, and I really appreciate everyone on here because they gave us their gift of time.
Yes, they did. And it's well appreciated. It is
well appreciated. And what? You're going to be like all over virtual reality now talking about this series. I'm going to be like, I told him like, wow, okay, he's going live at 3 and at 7. Okay, I'll tune into one of them and check him out.
I appreciate it. And I
we got to do this.
Well, on all of your success on, this right here is truly, truly needed. Your Choose Your Path segment and your Choose Your Path series is truly, truly needed. Just to even escape the world for a good little second to get on here and just be able to, hear these positive stories and these positive reinforcements. You keep it up. You keep it going.
I know, because I when I put the press release out, I was like, it's over in December. And then it's like, no, you can't. God said no. Who told you that? Going. God was probably looking at me like, I didn't send that memo. Who told her that?
We didn't have a meeting on that. We did not have a staff meeting. Nobody brought coffee to the meeting. It wasn't that at all.
She read from somewhere else because I definitely didn't send her that. And so here we are. Yeah, I'm going to definitely continue it. Cedric Jackson said the same thing. He said, Sherman, keep going. And he really inspired me. I was like, you're right. I'm gonna
Yes,
keep going.
man. You
I'm
keep
gonna keep
going with it.
going.
You
So you
keep
keep
going with it.
going too with this series.
I
That's
appreciate
fine.
it. Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you so much for having me once
Thank
again. Thank
you.
you to everybody
I
that
know, cause we
joined
could
us.
go a whole nother hour. They be like,
I know. Listen, we can. I said I'm respecting your time. So I said, cause trust me, I'm a talker. I can talk. So
me too. But that's okay. We'll talk again in April.
yes, we will. Yes, we
God
will.
willing. God
Yes,
willing.
we
January,
will.
February, March, April. Yep. It's gonna
Yes,
go by
ma'am.
fast.
Yes,
Time is an
ma'am.
illusion.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody, have a great one. Yes. You go out with the music like
I,
dun, 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 yeah.
all right, see you, bro.
Okay. I'm out.